Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Jordan Edders at I Have a Point for That. Thank you for tuning into my channel again. As you know, I am a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, and I am a licensed acupuncturist in the state of Texas. And today I want to talk to you all about how I got into this profession and how school went, and tips and tricks that you need to get through school, because there's not a lot of people that are really in this there's still not a lot of people that's in this profession right now, and there's not a lot of people that look like me in this profession right now. So I know some people that look like me do want to get into these fields, and I just want to be out here and let you know that, hey, we're out here, even though, it's not a whole lot of us just yet, but we're out here, and we want to let you know that, I want to let you know, I can't speak for all of us, but I want to let you know that, hey, I'm willing to, give you advice or help you out, or, with concepts and things like that. So I'm here for everybody that wants to get into this field. It is truly an amazing field, to be honest. It's honestly a dream come true for me. I love working I love what I do. I love working in this because it's holistic, it's spiritual. I get to tune in and help people on an emotional level, a physical level. I mean, it's so many levels to this, okay? And that's why I like it. And that's why, I thank God that, I was just led and, just really felt this whole thing. I'm honestly, I'm amazed, that I really did get into this, okay? So here goes. I started my path when I graduated from Prairie View A&M University with my bachelor's in biology and minor in chemistry. And I took a break. I was prepared to become a medical doctor or a dentist. I had all the classes I needed. All I needed to do was take one of those DATs or that MCAT, and I would have been good to go. Something in me said no. It was a hard stop, y'all. Like, I was like, what? This was 2013, and I was getting close to graduation. I was in that last semester, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And I went through a few feelings, I went through like a feeling of like, oh man, like, dang, like what am I gonna do? But then it was also like, well, look, there's some other things that you can do. Like, in the back of my mind, there was this like, what about the natural route? What about the natural route? But I ignored it. I didn't see it, because the thing is, I did not know anybody that had gone through this program or even was in this profession, to be honest. I did not know anything or anybody. And so I always put it out of my head, but there was always in the back of my head, I really do want to do something natural, holistic medicine, but I didn't know how to, I just didn't know, okay? So, because most of my program was really geared towards going to medical, dental, or veterinary school. And there's nothing wrong with that. That was just the focus at the time, which is fine. Because that was the focus that I wanted, that I was interested in. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with the people that went those routes. We need everybody everywhere. So anyway, So it's 2013. Oh, and let me just let y'all know, this is going to be an extended video. So just get comfortable. I'm going to tell you my story. And so just get comfortable, okay? Anyway, so I graduated. I got the privilege to teach biology laboratory during my time off between school, and I did that for a year. It was amazing. I loved it. It was eye-opening. I learned a lot from that whole process. Honestly, I would actually love to teach on that level or higher again. So Prairie View A&M University, if y'all need somebody to teach intro to acupuncture, I'm ready. I just thought I'd put that out there. But anyway, so I did that, and then the year was over. I was like, you know what? No, I wanna expand. I'm ready to actually just really leave the university. It's time. So I started working, like for real working, like in and I don't want to say like for real working, because Prairie View was for real working too, but working in somewhere that I wasn't familiar with, and it was a job that I was using my degree in, and it was one of my first official jobs, and I started working at a chemical plant that had a lab attached to it, and I had to certify chemicals and make sure they were good and all that stuff. And it wasn't what I was passionate about. I just wasn't into it. It just wasn't for me. And that propelled me to really look at and reevaluate what I really wanted to do. And what I really wanted to do was get back in and do that thing that was in the back of my head that I kept, kind of pushing off, because I didn't know anything about it, It was like, okay, it's time for you to get into the healthcare profession. It's time. This is it. And I started looking up some schools, and I was like, okay, let me see. I said, in my head, I was like, I really don't want to leave Houston. I really like this city. I got to see what's available. It's got to be a school in Houston that I can go to that's going to get me to this natural medicine route. American College of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine popped up, and I enrolled in 2015. I started in 2015, January 2015. And I actually was still working at that the chemical lab job that I was in, and so I worked there for like a semester, or maybe two, not semester, like trimesters, because we had trimesters. So I worked there for like two trimesters actually. So I worked there from January, when I was still. Let me get my story straight. I worked there from like 2014 to somewhere like maybe August 2015. Yeah. Anyway, so I was going to school and working this 40-hour-a-week job. So I'm getting up at 6 a.m., getting myself together, getting everything, packing all my stuff, because I'm going to be gone all day. I won't be home until like 10:30 at night from that point. So at the time, I lived in Kingwood. So I would drive from Kingwood, go to Channelview, and then go back across town in traffic to the school. Then after I was done, I'd go back up to Kingwood. So that got old. The working, the 40 hours, going to school. Yeah. Anyway, that was a lot, you know. I did it because I was committed, but would I recommend it? No. But it was what I was doing. It was where I was at the time in my life. I had to work. I needed to support myself, and that was what I saw. So I'm one of those people, I adapt. So if I want to do something, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do it, and I'm going to adapt my life around that some kind of way and just make it work. So that's what I did. And so, you know, time moved on. I decided, okay, I need to figure out how I'm going to maintain this, because when we started the program, you know, they were like, you know, you can still work and go to school. And I was like, oh, I can still work and go to school. That was not easy. They didn't say it was going to be easy. They just said, hey, you can still work and go to school because our classes are offered at night. I'm like, okay, cool. I can do all of this. Whatever. So, rude awakening, I decided, okay, look, I need to find a part-time job. Of course, part-time means, you know, you're cutting your pay dramatically. You know, I had to work with that. You know, that, and I also was utilizing school, my financial aid, so that helped a lot. But just getting my finances, you know, cut down. But I knew that if I did that, if I sacrificed a little bit there, that I would finish in the time that I said I was gonna finish and just get it done, you know, because that was the main thing. I wanted to get it done. Anyway, so I did that. By that time, and the first and the second trimester, those were the really, you know, every semester was honestly important, but those are the important times of your schooling. That's setting your foundation. So it was so important that I needed to take off and you know, find a part-time job. And I was thankful that I did start working with an acupuncturist at the front desk, which did afford me the time and the availability that I needed, and the flexibility and the understandability, because they understood that, hey, she's in acupuncture school, so, you know, we understand your schedule's going to change. That wasn't going to fly at the lab job that I had, just because of how their company is set up. That was corporate. I couldn't do that, you know, I just couldn't do that. So I needed to find a place where my schedule was going to be accepted and I was still going to be able to continue in the fashion I need to continue in. Okay. So did that. And one of the things I learned is that the time, I needed a lot of time. So study when you can. Do not procrastinate. Do not procrastinate. Ever. Okay? Do not procrastinate. That will be that's gonna be your downfall if that's something that you don't get in check, because the information comes quickly. It comes in it does not come in an easily it does not come palatable. Okay, because it's foreign. when you hear these words at first. You're hearing chi, you're hearing yin, you're hearing yang, you're hearing Chinese words, and you're just like, okay, so I need to connect all of the dots. I need to connect these ideas. I need to connect the process that's involved in this, or the pathways that are associated with these acupuncture points, or the pathway that this herb takes to in the body. Okay, so you have to set up that time that's going to afford you the mental capacity for you to absorb all this information. Now, you're not going to get all of your information in your first semester. You're not going to get it. Like, you're not going to fully comprehend it, okay? Like I said, you're setting up the foundation in that first semester, the first year. You're setting everything up, okay? You're not trying to, have it all down pat where every acupuncture point, every channel, all that stuff, okay? You're not going to fully know every single thing just yet, or remember. The thing is, it's the recollection and the remembering. Okay, that's where the repetition comes in. That's where the memorization comes in, and then the conceptualization comes in. So you're going to be putting ideas together. So you're going to want to have contact with your information and your knowledge and your books on a daily basis. So if you are doing flashcards, I suggest using Quizlet.com. They have an app as well. Do Quizlet for your flashcards. It's electronic. Or if you like to write things out, get your paper flashcards. But I liked Quizlet because I could access it on my laptop, on my phone, on my iPad, and I can access it anywhere at any time, and I can just go through the cards. It quizzes you. It has a quiz function. It has a read out loud function. So if you're driving, you want to listen to your cards. If you write them out the right way, you can listen to your cards while you're driving, and you're connecting ideas. So listening, writing, reading, writing your charts out, writing your points out, writing out what they do, writing out your herbs, all that stuff. You're connecting ideas. Listening, you can record yourself going through the points, going through your herbs, going through all your stuff, all your principles and things like that you need to know. Record yourself. The more you listen and you write and you read, it's gonna eventually stick. Okay. So take your time, be gentle on yourself, but don't procrastinate. So, and what's going to help you out the most is making sure that you take that time to rest. Resting is going to be just as important as studying and absorbing all this information, okay? So those go hand in hand. There's your yin and your yang, okay? Y'all will learn about that more. But there's a yin and a yang for everything. So your yin, resting, getting in the, recuperating from the week. Your yang is your work, your study, you're hitting the books, you're doing what you need to do, you're grinding, everything like that, okay? So, you'll have that. Then you'll progress. You will get to a point to where you're gonna get things down. Make sure that you get your books that you need. You're gonna be in this thing for 4 years or 4+ years, depending on how you work your schedule. But 4 years minimum is, that's where you're gonna be at post bachelor degree. Okay, so 4 years. Then what you're going to do while you're in school, your second year is going to be about learning So your first year is all foundational stuff, learning the acupuncture points, and you may also incorporate the herbs and, learning the basic herbs and stuff like that. Your second year, you're kind of diving a little bit deeper in those things. Then you're kind of mixing in some Western courses, because in acupuncture and Chinese medicine school, you learn both Eastern and Western medicine, or biomedicine as people call it. And which was the biomedicine part, that was pretty easy because of my biology degree, and it felt I felt at home with it, just because of, the words and just knowing the language, and it was easy. So that part was pretty easy. It was that's why I said don't get discouraged when you get into those classes, when you start learning all these super foreign new concepts. Take your time with it. Connect with your classmates, connect with your instructors, and connect with acupuncturists that you may know, or that you want to know. Okay, so connect with people and bounce these ideas off with them. Ask questions, see if you're understanding this the right way. Make sure you're building up everything the right way. Okay. Excuse me. I have to maintain my moisturization while I'm talking to y'all. But anyway, so make sure you're doing that, bouncing off ideas. So you're going to be, you're going to want to be in a place where you can be fully immersed in this coursework. I'm serious. This is not something where you want to kind of, be here and there with. You need to be fully committed. So before you get into school, kind of write some things out, make your plan. You want to make a financial plan for one. How are you going to pay for school? Also, how are you going to pay for your living situation and your needs? You need to make sure that you have that capability. And if you don't, you can do loans, you can do scholarships, you can apply for things. You might just have to, you might still have to have a part-time job. But like I said, if that's something that you're dedicated to and you want to do, you will adapt. You will definitely adapt to it. So yeah, so moving forward, so your second year, you're building more on and expanding more on the things that you learned from the first year. So now you're kind of going into a space to where, all right, you're learning how to use those needles and on your classmates. So hopefully you don't have a shaky hand or anything like that. But be confident in what you do and connect with it. Once you get into the coursework where you do start learning how to needle others, you do get to purchase needles from the school, and it's a good time to practice on yourself. Don't do anything dangerous, but practice on your hands, on your arms. Practice on like oranges and potatoes and things, and practice the actual movement of insertion of the needle and things like that, and get to know how it feels to needle yourself, to hold the needle. Get to know how you can, if you want to ask your spouse or your mom, your dad, whoever you're staying with, your cousin, your aunt, your uncle, whoever, hey, can I practice on you? I'm not telling you to treat anybody, okay? I'm just saying, hey, can I put a needle in your arm? Make sure you know what you're doing. You can't ask. if they are willing participants, okay? Now, don't start trying to say, well, I do acupuncture, and you got strangers you're doing acupuncture on strangers for money, okay? That's not it. I don't want y'all to get this, I don't want to say disbarred, but I don't want y'all to get a medical malpractice before you even become a licensed practitioner, okay? So, work within the realm and the scope of what you need to be doing at that time, okay? You will also you also qualify once you've successfully completed your first year's worth of coursework and you go into your second year, you do qualify to start doing observation in the school clinic with the interns. So do your observations, and this is a time where when you go into the clinic when you go into the room with intern, you are an observer. You do not, you don't talk a lot. You're more so watching. You're not the intern. I'm just letting you know. So you're not going in there and, making up treatment plans and needling and all that stuff. You're watching and you're learning how the process goes. So you are basically a fly on the wall. You can ask questions. It's always etiquette, and it's always courteous to ask more of those questions when you are outside of the patient room, just because it can kind of impede the flow of the conversation that you're having, that the conversation that the intern is having with the patient. So it's better if you take your notebook and you write those questions that you may have out and talk with the intern. The intern is most likely going to be very helpful and try to explain things to you. If y'all don't understand, if you don't get the full understanding, you can always feel free to talk to your instructor, talk to the supervisor that's over the interns in that particular on that clinic day. So you have a lot to learn, and you also have a lot that you're gonna get to do. So third year is so like I said, second year is building up on the first year. So now you're learning how to use those acupuncture points. You're learning how to use the extra things that we get to do. You get to learn about moxibustion, cupping, gua sha, plum blossom, needling. It's all kinds of really interesting things that we get to do that mainstream doesn't really know about. So but it's the really cool stuff that you get to see that in some of those karate movies and stuff like that. Anyway, I might be completely wrong about the name, but anyway, the fire cupping and just really cool stuff. Okay, anyway, then you go into third year, and my memory is a little since school was a lot, sometimes it was parts that I just really wanted to block out, just because it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of long nights and a lot of studying and processing and studying and tests, and just it was a lot. Okay, it was challenging, but it was nothing that I could not do, and it's nothing that you can't do. So I'm not discouraging you, but it was a lot of work, and I want to be honest with you. It was a lot, and it was expensive. So it's not something, like I say, it's not something you just want to just jump in and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to acupuncture and Chinese medicine school. I'm going to be a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. You need to dial it back and evaluate before you jump into this thing, okay? It's not easy, but you can do it. Anyway, so second year, you're still learning a lot. I mean, you learn a lot in everything, but you're building upon everything. Everything is becoming a little bit clearer. You're making more connections. You are learning the extra points. We have at least 365 points, acupuncture points all over the body that we learn. Then you have a whole extra set of points plus that. Don't ask me how many there are. Hundreds of points extra. It's hundreds of points. Okay, it just is endless. Okay, it's endless, because then there are other systems that you can learn. This is all kinds of stuff that we get to learn. Okay, so you learn the basics, that what you need first. Then they start building on. They still start putting stuff on top of that. So you learn how to put the points in. You learn how to needle. You learn what points to needle for what condition. You learn herbal prescriptions. That's another set of classes that you start delving into. That's between second and third year, actually. By third year, you really need to have all those prescription classes done so that you can go into the internship and clinical part of your degree. But second and third year, that's when you're kind of winding things, basically trying to get everything in before you need to go to clinic. So that's all of the stuff that you're going to need, because you're going to have to take a test in order to get into clinic. And it is something that you want to take very seriously, so that you don't miss this. You're not sitting around waiting to get into the clinic, okay? Because if you don't pass the course, if you don't pass all the tests in that semester, you don't move on to clinic the next semester. So you want to study, take your time, take those tests that you need to take at the appropriate times, and your advisor will help you figure out. You'll learn which times that is the right time to take those tests, and if you time it right, you'll be prepared. So that's no procrastination. Study, flashcards, everything you need to do. Keep doing that throughout this time, because you're going to be building on top of your foundation, okay? And by that time, everything will be much clearer. You'll have an idea on how to, do the TCM diagnosis, how to look at the signs, and symptoms, and know if this is an emergency situation or if this is something that you can treat right now in your clinic or in the clinical setting with acupuncture and herbs. So we learn those things. We learn we learn so much. I mean, sometimes it's the information does not end. It's endless information. If you are a lifetime learner and you like to learn, this is going to be the perfect career for you, because you will always be learning. And it's a lot of information. I cannot stress that enough. It's a lot of information. But that's why I said, I want to be honest with you all and let you know that it was not easy. But I made it. I don't want to go back to school. I really don't. I don't want to go back to my, if you ask me, would you do it again? I don't know. I would do it if that's where I had to be, if I had to, get to this, to do this career, yes. But am I going back to school for something else, doctoral level? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because this was enough. Because when I started my program in 2015, there was, and this was pretty much across the board in most schools, in most of the traditional Chinese medicine schools across the nation. You come in under the Master's of Acupuncture and Oriental Medicine degree. There is a PhD, or what is the DAOM program that was offered, but that was something that you did. Okay, you had to finish your 4-year degree, and then you did 2 additional years to get your doctorate at the time. That was more of a, that program was a specialization in women's health. So that's how you got your doctorate with that. It was not set up how when you go to medical school, where you go in for those first 4 years and you graduate and you are a doctor. You're a medical doctor at the time, okay? So it was like we had to do even more to get to that doctorate level. So now when you get into school, you get your first professional doctorate, which is the first 4 years that you're in school. You get everything you need to be a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine. Now, you keep hearing me go interchangeably with the Chinese medicine and the Oriental medicine. Well, there's some controversy with the Oriental medicine, so sometimes some schools are taking it out and some schools are not, and I don't really even want to go into that, but I just know that I hope y'all don't hear, my dog is asleep, so y'all might hear her snoring. Anyway, Sadie. Hey, Sadie. Okay. Anyway, I don't really want to go into that because that's a whole nother, that'll take a whole nother 5 hours, so I'm not. But that's all. I'm no. But so what's happening now, which is really good, they did, most of the programs across the nation have solidified the degree program, and they offer the doctorate, the Doctor of Acupuncture and Chinese Medicine. So when you go to school, you graduate as a doctor, as you should, because the information is vast and it is substantial, and it is a complete degree, and it does put you in position to care for somebody from a holistic medicine perspective. Okay, so you basically, you're a Chinese medicine doctor. That's what you are. So, and that's what you are, honestly, if you still have your master's degree right now, and you went to that school and you put that amount of time in. That was a lot of time. So that's why I'm happy to say now that's where the programs are at. They're officially giving people the thing that matches up with their degree, okay, with the time that they've put in. So yeah. So what I did was, I graduated. By the time I was about to graduate, they rolled out that DACM program, which is the Doctor of Acupuncture and Chinese Medicine program. I was about to graduate, so I did not add any additional courses. The main focus for me was to finish so I could go ahead and focus my time on my board exams, because the last year that I was pretty much the last year that I was in school, I think I had 1 semester of classes left, and then the other 1 trimester of classes left, and the other 2 trimesters was just clinical coursework. So I had clinical coursework the whole year of that last year, but I only had a few classes left that year, and then the rest was just me doing, clinical stuff. So I did not have any time to study for my board exams while I was in school. So I was like, okay, as soon as I graduate, I'm gonna get on these board exams. So I took off a few months. So it was about 9 months after I graduated. It was about 8 to 9 months. It was about 8 to 9 months after I graduated in January 2019 that I got the rest of, that I completed all of my board exams and became licensed. Okay, so you have to do the NCCAOM board exams, and those are 4 board exams that they have. So you have your foundations, you have your acupuncture, you have your herbology, and you have your biomedicine board exam that you take. Once you pass those, I passed those the first time. I did TCM review courses and TCM test as my major study stuff for that. And I just hit the books. I had the time, okay? I had the time. I had the resources to fully immerse myself and get these board exams done, okay? So every other month I took a test. I pulled out my planner. I wish I don't have my planner right now, but that year I pulled out my planner, okay? I wrote when I was going to, in the time that I was going to take that test, I wrote in there, passed. I did not say I will pass. I did not say hoping to pass. I wrote in the past tense, passed this particular exam in the month that I wanted to take that exam, okay? So I wrote in there. So every other month, I would study for 2 months per exam, take an exam, study 2 months for an exam, take an exam, and I just repeated that process until I was done. Then I got to another, so it's basically 5 exams I had to take. So my 5th exam was the state of Texas jurisprudence exam. It's not hard, but it's not something you want to just not study for either. It's not that easy either, because the wording and things like that, it's just something you can want to pay attention to. It's legal stuff, it's ethics and things like that. So you kind of want to make sure you're prepared for that. So I did that. And then, passed that the first time, whatever. Thank God. So did that. So I'll kind of go backwards. So when I graduated, I graduated my master's of acupuncture and oriental medicine. So from the coursework from January 2015, and I graduated. So I technically finished in December 2018, but of course, I finished January, like the first week in January 2019. And then our schools hold graduation once a year. So I graduated that September? Was it September? I think it was September. So I graduated in September 2019, and then immediately applied to do the doctoral coursework. So I started my doctoral, so my 22 hours or 21 hours of coursework that I needed to get my doctoral portion, because it was basically me saying, I'm reclaiming my time. I want my time back. I want my time to match my degree. I want the time that I put in to match the degree that I have. I wanted to match the time that I put in, okay? So I enrolled in that. So I did it with the Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. Well, that's what they're used to be called. They're called the Pacific College of Health and Science now, but at the time it was Pacific College of Oriental Medicine. But anyway, I did that January 2020. I'm laughing because y'all know what 2020 looked like. I don't even have to go there, but and I'm just laughing because it was, you already know. Anyway, but anyway, so that system when I enrolled with PCOM was a completely online. I did the transitional doctoral degree, which was meaning that, we're bridging you from your master's program. Now we're transitioning you into a doctoral position. Basically, that's basically all it is. It doesn't mean anything less about my degree or anything like that, because I basically got the main part, the most needed part in my master's program. They are just catching us up to the degree program that is currently being offered now. So that's all that's going on now, okay? And that's not to take away from anybody who is currently practicing with their master's in acupuncture and Chinese medicine or Oriental medicine, because you all did the time that you needed. You just did not get the doctoral degree that you deserved, okay? That's all that comes down to, okay? It's all about it's at the end of the day, it all comes down to the time, the money, and the pay, okay? If you get what I'm saying. But anyway, the second program that I did, I just finished in December. So I pushed through. Excuse me. That was a lot too, actually, in combination with the events that went down in last year. But it was not that hard. It was just a lot of, so what they do is that it's a lot of integrative medicine in there. So we're integrating, we are putting together Eastern and Western medicine even more. They are, basically putting you on a point to where if you needed to or wanted to work at a hospital, you have the credentials that you need to do so. You have the information, they go through like the evidence-based practice and all of this stuff that, just stuff that you need to basically work in both a Western medicine and an Eastern medicine setting. So if you want to do private practice, you can. If you wanted to, like I said, you want to work at a hospital system, you can do that. You have the full, the full knowledge to do so at that point. So that's all that is. That's all that comes down to. So, yeah. But just to drive this home, the main things that you're going to be doing are studying, making sure that making sure that you're mentally prepared and fortified, making sure that your health is good, making sure that you're financially prepared. That's a major component, because if your finances are off, you're not going to feel good, okay? You're going to be anxious. You're going to feel anxious because you know that you have to pay things and you have to do things and you have to eat and you have to buy food and you have to put gas in your car and all this stuff. That does not allow you to focus on what you need to do for school. So as many distractions as you can get taken, as you can put away, do so. There were people that had children, they had kids already, or they had a baby during the time that they were in school. They did it. Some of them had to take a little bit longer than the rest of us that didn't have children or a family. And that's okay. They still got through, they still did it. They still got out, they still graduated, all of that stuff, okay? So if you were in that position, it's fine. You can do that. It's just, life does happen. Life does move on. And you, like I said, there's that, you need that adaptability. And that's where that mental health component comes in, and taking the time that you need. Maybe you may have to do the coursework part-time until you can figure out a situation to where you can do a full-time session. Make sure that you have, like I say, you have the financial part situated. You get the financial aid that you need. You get the loan that you need. You get the scholarship that you need. Maybe you have somebody that is willing to sponsor you or support you. You never know. So you can ask those questions. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and and help that you can get. All you have to do is ask. But yeah. So if you have any questions for me, like I said, this was going to be a long video, but if you have any questions for me, please, you can check in the little box there and ask me questions. Yeah. So you can email me. You can ping me on Instagram at ihaveapointforthat. Just feel free, okay? But one more thing. If you haven't already, please get acupuncture. Try it for yourself, especially if this is something you want to go into. Please try the herbology part, the herbs, the herbal medicine that your acupuncturist prescribes to you. Try that. See how this stuff feels. Get a connection for it. And read some books about it. Do what you need to do, okay? Pray about it, meditate on it, do some mindfulness things about it, do what you need to do, okay? All right. If I'm missing anything, or if y'all have any additional questions, I do not I don't care if I have to make another video. I will do that. I just want to be here for people that are looking to get into this. I know that it's not always a lot of information on what it's like to be in school and to do and all of this stuff, all of this. So I understand, because I was in that position too. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me and listening to me and watching my channel. Have a wonderful day, or wherever you're watching. All right, bye.